24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
Africa, nakupenda sana go. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that sound, it is the African experience. You are with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya. Woo, tonight I'm joining all the way from, actually live from Uganda. And this is the show where we showcase, African experience. We bring, beautiful people who tell, beautiful stories. I'm normally not alone. I'm here. I'm with my co-host Aventina Mabunda, who is broadcasting live from Johannesburg. Yo, we are connected. Mandla, good evening, my sister.
Oh, good evening, Doc. Talk about 5IR. We have surpassed the 4IR now. You know what? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The show is called African Experience as usual, and it's that time and it's the place where we chat to phenomenal people. And today is one such day. I am excited, Doc, to talk to our guest today. Anything about the mind blows me. And let me not preempt. Let's just welcome our guest to the show. Our guest, please welcome to the show and introduce yourself and tell the listeners who you are.
Thank you so much, Manta. Thank you, Dr. My name is Rirandzu, Viola Madhlophe, and I'm proudly Mutsonga from South Africa in Mpumalanga. And as a background, my dad comes from Mozambique, and he settled in Mpumalanga, and my mom comes from Limpopo in South Africa also. And I've got 5 siblings and 3 beautiful kids and 8 grandkids. And most people say, wow, 8 grandkids. And so in the nutshell, that is who Rirandzu is.
Oh, wow.
That is so beautiful. I like when you even talk about being proudly Tsonga. Ooh, it makes me feel excited because, I'm Tsonga too, and, proudly Tsonga. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We one thing that we do on the show, before we host somebody who's got a story to tell. But we also do our homework to really research. And I know an hour might not be enough for us to unpack, the journey, the things that you have to share here on the African Experience. But I'm so much looking forward to that. Okay, now my first question that I have to you is, we understand that you are a teacher by profession, right? Tell us a little bit more about where you started with your career as a teacher. What did you specialize in? And then we'll progress, as we go further.
Okay, thanks, Dr. Kamalan. And when I was in matric, my dream was to become a doctor. So at the school where I was, 80% of the students went and did medicine. But of course, my results were not that good for me to get a bursary. And at home, they didn't have money to pay for university. So we were blessed in those times because in what they call Kazankulu, the teachers training colleges were free. So I said, why stay at home? Let me go do teaching. It was not something that I intended to do, but I said, I can't stay at home and waiting for money to go to university. So I rather go to college. And I did a 4-year diploma specializing in maths and science and completed that in record time and went ahead and go and teach maths and science as well in high school.
And which college was that, if I may ask here?
Giyani College. It's in Giyani, yeah. So we were the first group to attend that college when it opened. And the education that we got from there, it was a great education because it was teaching us to be critical thinkers. Wow. And I'm sure 90% of the people that came out of that college, till today, they are still critical thinkers. We don't take things in face value and say, this is how it is, but we try to look at all angles and critique all angles of whatever is presented in front of you.
Mandla, I'm actually listening to that, and this is the product that came from the Guyana College. I was looking at the social media the other time, and people were showing pictures of Guyana College. How I wish it could actually go back, to those days of glory where it produced, like the critical thinkers as we see you. Mandla?
Yeah, it's quite fascinating, really, listening to how someone who studied something that they did not initially intended to study, and then they went and they were taught about critical thinking, and no one can really associate Guyana College with critical thinking. So it will be quite interesting to understand the journey of you as a Rirandzu. So I want us now to talk about how you transitioned from being a teacher to now into the IT space. Do you want to take us through that journey and the inspiration behind? Like we always say, there's always a story behind the story. What inspired you to now change from being a teacher into the IT space?
As I indicated, that was not the career that I wanted to follow. So I didn't know what else to do after finishing. It was going to go back to teaching. And I was adamant I'm not going to stay in the teaching field as a career for a long time. So when we finished at Guyana College, they were giving us credits that you can go to Rao University and obtain a degree. And I said, I'm not going to get a degree because if I get a degree, I will stay in that field that I don't like. So what I did then, I think it was after 4 years that I was teaching, I enrolled a TSA. It was TSA by then, enrolled information technology. And what happened the first year, I failed all the modules.
Okay.
The reason being that I didn't understand anything about technology. I didn't grow up with a computer or laptop, so I failed all the modules. And I said, I'm going to do it again. So health issues came into play. I took a break, but I went back in and I said, I'm going to do this information technology no matter what. I then registered again and started the important part. I was not catching it. It was the software development. And one of my uncles said to me, there are institutions in Johannesburg where you can go and learn how to be a software developer. And that's what I did. And I think that was a stepping stone for me because after that, I managed to secure a job in retail company where I was a software developer. And just to reiterate, it was not as easy as going 1 year, the second year, third year. It was sweating and crying. And I remember when I went to this teachers training college, not the TSA, I had to surrender all the policies that I had and all the shares that I had in order to pay 20,000 by year 2000, and that was a lot of money, and it was only for 4 months. And by then but then I said, let me take this bold step because education, I do understand that it's a calling, and I felt I was not doing justice. So then I ended up in IT as a software developer.
Wow. What I'm picking from the story is that the journey was not, like a ball in the park, and it was not just a bed of roses. You speak about failure. I mean, I'm looking at a person where you are failing all the modules. One person will say, this is not for me, I give up. But in your case, you did not give up, you went back. And I picked also in your narrative that there was like health issues. Perhaps maybe we'll talk a little bit more about that. But nothing stopped you. You said, you know what, this is something that I want to do. You talk about the sweat and the crying, and you really, really, go there. Wow, wow, wow. This is very, very interesting. Before we go to the next question, let me acknowledge some of the people that are actually joining. I see Takan Mabas. Takan Mabas, if I were to give an award, to our number one listeners on this show, I will definitely, definitely give it to you, because every time you are there. And she's saying, wow, you are an inspiration. I can also recognize Nyeleti Mashabela. Ooh, she's saying giving up is never an option. There are people who are really listening. Thank you so much, for joining. Mandla, I give it to you to continue.
You know what? Now that we have listened to her telling us about her story, it sort of makes sense. But I want her to tell us why she chose the theme. The theme that she chose is Unleash the Power Within, navigating life's challenges with unyielding inner strength. So, what does this mean for you? What does the statement mean to you?
Wow, man, this theme captures an idea of tapping into inner resources. And if we tap into our inner resources, that's where we are able to overcome obstacles and thrive in the face of any challenge that we come across. I chose to share about this because it resonates a lot with me, because I found myself at many crossroads. And that meant that I had to go deeper within me and be able to say, where am I going? So before I go on with that, I just want to reiterate that in this age, what we are living in an era where we want instant gratification, we want to outsource. So you find that you outsource everything. When you have a problem, you run outside and you want somebody to solve the problem for you, instead of firstly solving the problem yourself and be able to move on. So I will just give two crossroads that I had. And as we spoke before we started, we said some of the audience are people that are still young adults that are still at school. I was pregnant at 17. And for me, that was a blow, to be pregnant at 17, and what next? But I managed to go on, complete my matric, go to teachers training college. I remember when I was doing my last year in teachers training college, I was expecting my second child. And at that point, I was supposed to finish 6 weeks of training. And if I didn't finish 6 weeks, I was going to repeat the year. I said to the doctor, Doctor, please take my child out, because according to the book, you're saying 36 weeks. I managed to go back and did the practicals. But what unleashing the power means is that I had to write exams. And during writing exams, my child was still 2 months. What I had to do was to put her on my back, kneel down at the coffee table, and study. And that for me is, I'm going in and unleashing the power that is within me in order to navigate that. And the second one is the health issues. The health issues that I went through started also at the age of 17. While I was pregnant, doctor said, your heart is not working well. You were born with a defect heart. At 18, I had to undergo a heart operation. 10 years later, doctor said, you know what? We don't find your other kidney. It means you were born with one kidney. And throughout the years, there were ups and downs with my health. Until now, in 2021, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was stage 1, they removed, within a month it was done. But then after that, they came back and said, but you know what? Now you've got leukemia. And that's when I said, no, there's more to it than for me to go on and say, okay, these are diagnosis after diagnosis. What is it that I must do? Because there's something that needs to change in this whole equation. That's when I started a journey. And that journey was to unpack, how do I go deeper within myself to be able to unleash that power? So, the first thing that you do when you unleash the power is to remove the fear. And I know God said He has put a spirit in us, and it's not a spirit of fear. So I go on and say, this is what is presented to me. And when I go deeper, I listen to myself and say, in this situation, in this crossroad, what will you do? I don't go to my neighbor, I don't go to my sibling, I don't go to my kids and say, what must I do? I said, Rirandzu, you sitting here. What is it need to do? And what is important in that sense is we need to note that we are not just a physical being. We spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And believe me, emotionally is the one that is very important, because you will find that if we don't acknowledge how we are feeling, that is the problem that comes into our life. And as human beings, we have got an ability to tap into this inner self. And we all know we have the same spirit that God gave us. The only difference is that how do you tap into your own spirit? And we need then to say, I've got this challenge. Let me embrace it. Let me accept it and continue with life. And be cognizant of what you are feeling in each and every moment that you find yourself in. And lastly, when I talk about unleashing, remember we've got a choice. In every situation, a person has got a choice. We've got a choice to think positively, we've got a choice to think negatively. So we need to say, if I choose to think like this, what are the results? And at the end of the day, you'll get the results that will be yielded by your thoughts, not anybody else's thoughts. Thank you.
Sure, that was a mouthful, Sissy. You know what? I'm sitting here getting goosebumps. One person once said, loko a swi nga humeleli ka wena a swi fane swi humelela ka mani. And for me, that statement really touches on what unleashing the power within. It doesn't matter what happens to you. Like you rightfully said, we all have a spirit. We are a spirit living inside this physical body. So whatever happens, use power within. Sure, Doc, we have a lot of homework to do as a people, as mothers, as youth, as fathers, as human beings in the community. We really need to dig deep, and that's why this story is really touching for me. And you know what, before we even go further, we have actually now past our time for going for an ad break, because there was no way we could have stopped that. That was very deep and that was very insightful. So on that note, we'll take a little break, and then we'll come back and just continue with this story. Really, there's a lot we need to learn. Let's go for an ad break, DJ Macy. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the African experience. You are with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya, with my beautiful, beautiful co-host, Aventina Mabunda. Tonight, we are talking to this powerhouse. Just before we went on the ad break, she was really, really touching on how do we have to tap on the inner resource and why she chose the theme for tonight. Before we continue with you, Rirandzu, I just want to acknowledge, some of the listeners that are joining. Tsakani, we have already seen you. Nyelet, we have seen you. We also see, Shanaz Sibanda. She's saying, wow, this is my mom. Oh, this is my mama there. Rirandzu Ngwenya is also joining and saying, this is my cousin. And she continues to say, a journey of resilience and high motivating. We also have, Miki Mahatlani saying, talk of tenacity, what an inspiration. Oh, Jolene Mangani, this is another loyal listeners that we have. She's saying, good evening, African Experience. Thank you so much for joining. We also have, Kulu Muhane. She's saying, Sesi Rirandzu, this is so inspiring. Thank you for inviting me. You just blessed my soul. Failure is actually a winner. One needs to embrace it and never give up. Takan Mabasa continue to say, I humbly receive my award. Yes, it's definitely coming. Wow. We also have Notolo Tibane saying so inspiring. Thank you so much, Godfrey Mabunda. We see you. Wow, we went to school together at Lemana. Always, she has been a critical thinker. The world is an oyster. Oh, an author of note. Thank you so much, Godfrey, because we'll be talking also about her authorship there. Oh, Etienne Chauke, thank you so much for joining. Rirandzu Mabasa, thank you so much for joining. Who else? I think Benel Sibanda, super proud of you. Precious Mabasa, thank you so much. Mavis Sibuyi, thank you so much for joining. Okay, now Rirandzu, we will continue to acknowledge. I think we have Nwama Kena, primary, whoever is joining there, they are joining. We want to continue here. With your journey, you don't only look at your failures, you talk about the different crossroads that you have, but you further on went on to become a life coach, or maybe what we call the certified transformational coach. So you're using your challenges to tap your inner being to be able to support others. Tell us a little bit more about that role that you are playing. What does it mean for you to be a certified coach? And what does it mean? What do you do with that?
Thank you, Dr. Kamalani. I think before I can talk about what is transformational life coach, I just want to reiterate that now, for me to have went and did the training, by that time I was still working in IT, and when you have that inner calling where you feel there's more to fight and you don't know what to do. And I had to research and say, what can I do? Because I think I've got a higher purpose, not fulfilling that higher purpose. And I got a training college, which it's in Pretoria. I went, it was for 5 days, but very intense 5 days. And after that 5 days, you are qualified as a transformational coach. Had neuro linguistic programming and negative emotional therapy. So, as a transformational life coach, what we do, or the expertise, lies in facilitating that a profound personal and professional being to shift and go beyond what they believe in. So, by that, what do we mean? You go deeper into core beliefs. We know that when we grow up, we've got beliefs that are instilled within our families. We've got beliefs that are instilled within our communities. We've got beliefs that are instilled also within our churches. And those beliefs, it's not all of them that are serving us. So if you sit down and think about those beliefs that you have, you'll find that instead of um, helping you, what they are doing, they are sabotaging you. So, in that sense, that's what transformational coach does. And we look at holistic growth rather than providing quick fixes. Like we'll say, when you've got a headache, get a Panado. No. In this case, we have to look to say, if you have got a headache, what is the cause of the headache? So, that's the nutshell of transformational life coach.
Very interesting, Ceci. Thank you for sharing that. I'm particularly keen to know more about this as a career progression plan for someone who's sitting at home. You know, in our show, we always say if we can just inspire one person to go and have a look and do an introspection into their own lives and see what part they can change for the better, then we would have done our job as the African Experience Show. Now I'm thinking, I'm looking, wow, this sounds very interesting. And you know, for someone who's sitting at home, who knows that, you know, they like teaching, they like counseling people, but they may not necessarily have maybe the time or the know-how or where to go to study this thing. For me, neurolinguistic therapy or negative thinking therapy are such draw cards and they sound like they are careers of the future. What sort of advice can you tell someone who's actually thinking into this type of career?
Definitely, I would say these careers, when you look at them, Sissy, is it it's at the wave where if you jump on that wave, you know in 5 or 10 years time you will be there. We know the next big thing is the AI, but also the next big thing also is to help people, because people out there, they are suffering. You can have money, you can have everything, but if you don't have inner peace, if you are not emotionally stable, then that money doesn't mean anything, even if you are intelligent. So I would say to people that are looking at changing careers and looking at transformational life coach, because coaching is different, is that this is the way to go. And from my angle also, I'm busy also studying a what is called RTT, so that I can use the RTT in conjunction with the coaching, and where RTT is the rapid and not hypnosis as we see in movies. In this case, it's a hypnosis where you help a person to reprogram their subconscious mind. As you will know, if you have somebody that's going through negative phase or going through challenges, and you say to that person, think positive, think positive, think positive, what happened? They will still be the same. But then if you help them to go deeper, layer by layer, on their subconscious mind and reprogram that subconscious mind, remove those sabotaging beliefs and instill new beliefs that will help them. So I will urge people, especially young ones, to research about these careers and be able to have the knowledge of whether is it something that I can do, it's something that I can venture into. Thank you.
Sure, it's quite fascinating, honestly speaking. And when you are talking, the more you unpack it, really, I'm thinking, even other people in their different careers, they can use courses like this to better do their job. I mean, if you're a manager, you're managing a group of people, you need some sort of emotional intelligence for you to know how to work and manage your team better. So for me, it actually is opening my eyes wide to say, you know what, if only a lot of us could invest a bit in understanding what neuro-linguistic techniques are, what negative thinking therapy are, we would actually also think before maybe making rash decisions and stuff like that. But you know what? This for me is too fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you are still listening to me, Mandla Aventina Mabunda, on the African Experience. And we are chatting to, you know what, a very insightful person, a very resilient person who went through hoops of life to get where she is. And the best is still yet to come. But we need to go for an ad break. And when we come back, she will tell us where she is in the world as we are talking today. So let's go for an ad break. Do not move a single inch.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika, nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika, nakupenda sana.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are still listening to the African Experience Show. Today we are talking to an inspirational woman whom we can safely say life tried to show flames. But guess what? She showed life flames by unleashing the power within. I'm talking about none other than Rirandzu Viola Madhlophe. She is going to now talk to us about where she is before we go into her book, because we are talking to an author, good people. So we are talking to a very multifaceted woman today. So Ceci, please tell us where you are and what you're doing there.
Currently, I'm in Dubai. I'm working still as a solution architect, and I think I'm loving to be in Dubai. And what I can say to people that are asking themselves, how can she be in Dubai? How did she manage to get herself in Dubai? There are young people, that are aspiring to work abroad, and with her above 50, and then she find herself a job in Dubai. All this, I want to say, is the power of setting goals. If you set goals and you write them down, you don't set goals by thinking about them, you write them down. I used to write down that I want to travel the world. I didn't know how, when that is going to happen. But then in 20, I think it was in 2021, my daughter got a job here in Dubai. So for me, it was, these things are possible. And I'm not old to do those things. So the first thing that I did was to open my CV on LinkedIn, to go, to open, I can work in Dubai, I can work in London, everywhere. But then God knew that my goal that I've been writing, I said, I want to travel the world. And that goal was realized because I got a job at Emirates Airline. And since I'm at Emirates Airline, I can travel the world. So that's where I am right now.
Oh, wow, Doc, I'm not sure if you are hearing all this. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what are we doing?
I know, because sometimes we think, oh, we are too old, to branch into new ventures and things like that. And she says, at her age, but not only at her age. I think what stands out for me, not only at her age, but looking at the challenges that, the health challenges that she spoke about, breast cancer, leukemia, and all that, and all the challenges. But she says, you know what, nothing is really stopping me. Thank you so much for that inspiration. I don't know, Mandla, if you had acknowledged we have new, or maybe other listeners. There's someone, I will be butchering, this name, Osutisibis, something like that. He says, I cannot believe that it took us a move halfway across the world to meet this incredible human being. What a blessing. We have Lerato, inspires, and people, and maybe Sibuyi, thank you so much. We see that. Now, Rirandzu, you are an author. You are an all-rounder, IT, math, science teacher, life coach. You are an author. You authored a book and you are in a process of writing the second one. Let's start with the first one. What is the title of the book? DJ Messi, I think let's get, that book. We want to see it because we have some pictures. We want to see that first book. What is the title? What inspired you to write it? And where can people find it before we go to your next book?
Okay, thank you. The title of the book is Love Beyond the Grave. So, what inspired the book? Um, I lost a lot of people that are dear to me. And just to briefly explain, in 2017, I lost my granddaughter. She was 4 months. In 2018, I lost both my parents. And in 2019, I lost my sister in law. And then in 2021, I lost my fiance, who we were engaged for 6 months. So during the grieving period, I found myself seeing things that were not making sense to me. And one example of those things, if you get hold of the copy, you'll read all the others, but I will just pick up one. Where I was staying in Johannesburg, we will get a notification that my fiance went through the gate. And with me working in IT and understanding biometrics, that was impossible because we were using fingerprints. And that happened 4 times. So he will come in and we'll get a notification that he went out. Another time we'll get a notification that he came in and then went out. So at that point, I will share these things with my friend, my coach, Lerato. I think she joined. And then she said, my friend, this you need to write a book. And we brainstormed and then came to Love Beyond the Grave. So the title says it all, that people that you love, they might be gone, but they are still with you. Their love you can still feel even if they are gone and they are beyond the grave.
Wow. Wow. I think most of us can actually resonate because we have lost, loved ones and things like that. Where can people find this book if they want to read it and feel inspired and learn to love beyond the grave?
For now, I'm busy with reviewing, and I want to have a second edition of the book because, firstly, it was a self published. I didn't get any publisher, so I wrote it myself, got somebody to quickly edit it, and I then publish it myself. So it didn't even make it to Amazon. So, what I'm doing now while writing my second book is to do a revised version. So within the next 3-4 months, it will be out, and I can then share the information where people can get the book. However, in some cases, when I'm back home, I run workshops because I will run grief workshops, and that's where people can then get a copy of the book.
This is so interesting, honestly.
Wow.
It's so
Thank you.
fascinating.
Go
So
ahead,
maybe
Mandla.
on
Go
that
ahead.
note, okay. On that note, this one is Love Beyond the Grave. And I understand it targets people that are going through grief and the stages of grief. And it teaches in a way to heal by accepting that, you know what, the love doesn't die, although the person in their physical form might be gone. So now you spoke to us about that and the story about your fiance coming back, that is fascinating. I want to know what was going through your mind as you are putting down these experiences that you have had and now having to write it so that you can share and inspire other people. How long did it take you to go through the writing process while you're still also trying to heal and all that? What was happening during that phase until you had the final copy?
Oh wow, it was a journey. Precise 5 months that I wrote the book and it was published, but it was a real journey. I will cry while writing because it was the same year that my fiance passed on. So I will cry, wake up in the middle of the night, write, and some of the things that I will write, it will be like journaling to him, and then I'll remove them out of the book. But what I can say with the experience is that it helped me to heal because I managed to deal with most of the emotions that were there. And it humbles me that I can be able to say to somebody that is grieving, come, let's hold hands. I know I've traveled to this journey. Let me help you. Here are nuggets that you can pick up and help yourself.
Oh, wow, that's very interesting. So you said you are doing workshops whenever you come home. Do you have the next workshop date set, or it's still in the planning phase?
It's still in the planning phase,
Okay,
but
great.
I will
So,
definitely
okay,
advertise once it's done. Yes.
all right, great. So now I want us, when we are engaged in a topic, time just flies. I can tell you that. I see our time is flying very quickly, but we'll try and ask as many questions as possible so that our listeners and viewers can get an overall view of the person that we are talking to today. We're talking to none other than Ceci. Um, Viola Rirandzu Madhlophe, who is such a diverse human being, who has so many facets to her, and who is an interesting life counselor that it would worth anyone's time to sit down and have coffee with her or attend her workshop. Now, we know that you are writing your second book. Tell us a bit about that.
As you can see, the first book it was my experience, and even the second book it's about my experience. And as I indicated earlier, being diagnosed with the two cancers made me a different person. If now you have seen the cover of Love Beyond the Grave, you can see I'm no longer the same person because I even lost about 32 kgs. But then losing um, that weight was not by saying I want to exercise and lose weight, but it's the choices that I made after being diagnosed with a cancer. And I told myself, let me take a different route in tackling what is put in front of me or in this crossroad that I'm facing. So I said, let me share with people because since I was diagnosed in 2021, we're in 2024, it is worth sharing. I see most people when they are given a diagnosis, especially with cancer, they already plan their funeral. And why? Because that is an opinion. That is that they've picked up. And it's not related to whether you die or whether you live. It's that you have got a diagnosis that they've got. So when I say eat your cancer away, is that you can eat your cancer away by changing your lifestyle, by eating healthy. And eating it away does not literally mean that at the end of the day it's gone. You can live with it. Because most people are living today with cancer, but they don't know. So why are you then planning your funeral that you once you know? So through the book, I try to share my experiences. I share what I'm doing, and till now, I'm still healthy. I'm not taking any medication. And when I started this journey in 2022 January, till to date, I've never taken a pill. Even if I've got a headache, there are tools that I can use, like breathing exercises, and the headache will be gone. So the book is just to then educate people, and it starts with educating about the mind, about our subconscious mind, about our inner being, and then how do you then tackle a diagnosis when you are given that diagnosis.
Wow, wow, wow. This is so profound. I think it will need, maybe another session, the whole, session where we are talking about these things. I'm listening and I'm like, this is really so profound. We're going to take another commercial break. When we come back, we're going to show some pictures of you and what you're doing, and then we'll be asking you what was going on. And I know you also shared pictures about your family and things like that. We're going to show some pictures. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go away. Let's take a commercial break. This is the African Experience.
Are you ready for the ultimate dietary powerhouse? Look no further than Masana Dietitian's Nutro Boost. Our scientifically formulated low GI food is designed to give you the boost you need to fuel your body and reach your health goals. With NutriBoost, you have the flexibility to enjoy it as a high-fiber cereal or a satisfying shake. Simply mix it with water and indulge in the mouth-watering flavors that we have to offer. But that's not all. NutriBoost is packed with essential nutrients that are beneficial for your overall well-being. Enriched with 20 immune-boosting vitamins and minerals, it's a convenient and effective way to support your immune system. And here's the best part. NutriBoost is gluten-free, egg-free, and high in omega-3, making it suitable for those with dietary restrictions or allergies. Need an energy boost? NutriBoost has you covered. It's high in energy and protein, providing you with the fuel you need to power through your day. Whether it's a busy morning or an intense workout session, say goodbye to midday slumps and hello to sustained energy with NutriBoost. Try it today and experience the difference. For orders or to become a distributor, contact us on the following details.
Wow, wow, ladies and gentlemen, this is the African Experience with me, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya, with my co-host Mabunda. What an evening, what a show. We are talking to none other than Rirandzu, Viola, Madhlophe. What a powerhouse. If positive thinking was a human being, I actually see it in you. Just from the beginning of, the show, sharing about, your teenage pregnancy, how you will go to school and all that, the failures, but also the health issues and all that. And you still have, such a positive outlook of, wow, wow, wow. This is really, really inspiring. DJ Messi, let us see some pictures and then we take it from there. Let us see some of the pictures that we see.
So you can see here, it was 2020. And here it was before I was diagnosed with both the cancers.
Okay.
This is some of the foods that I eat. So I didn't mention, once I was diagnosed with leukemia, I stopped eating meat. So I'm on a vegan diet, which meaning that I eat black rice, tofu, and veggies.
Wow.
So these are the meals that I prepare for myself. And I prepare green juices also. I don't drink any juice from the shelves at the stores. I make my own fresh juice. This is me now transitioning Was when I just arrived in Dubai.
Wow.
And here I attend everything and anything that will be building me spiritually. Others will know this is Master Shri. I was attending Manifesting Miracles. These are my parents. And this is me traveling the world. I was in Egypt in 2023. This is the like positive outlook in life to say in the midst of everything, that's where I'm going. This also, I was attending Saint Guru's service or session where we filled up the dome. This was me prior to being diagnosed. These are my siblings. And wow, these are my beautiful girls and my grandkids.
Wow.
This is me in Egypt. In my book, Eat Your Cancer Away, I've got a chapter where I've got people that I call divine partners. And those divine partners are some of the people that you'll see. I will have them in pictures because I call them divine partners because they are partnering with me on this journey. This guy, he's 82 and he's blind and he's a Chinese healer. And these are my beautiful girls.
Beautiful they are. Tell me, Ceci, what drives you to seek for some of the interventions that you seek? Do you feel it inside, or is how you have wired yourself, or how do you seek for these adventures and some of the partners that you are talking about?
I would say, when you set your mind to something, and as they would say, when you set your goals, you set your vision, and leave it to the universe, and then it will then do the work. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, but if you go into my TikTok or Instagram or Facebook, what I see is only the motivational stuff that I need. So in that sense, all the things that are coming to me are the ones that I need to see. And here in Dubai, there are lots and lots of them, and some of them are free. So I will strive to attend as many as I can, and the learning is profound.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing your story. As I sit here and I listen to you taking us through your journey, what comes to mind is Maya Angelou's poem about Still I Rise. I mean, you are that walking, you are that poem personified because life has really tried to make you sit down, has really tried to stop you. But in all the instances that you have shared with us, you refused and still you rose and you unleashed your power within. So this is very inspirational. And you know what? As a testament to that, the number of people that are coming onto the show passing on their comments, some of them paying tribute to you, saying, you know what, Ceci, thank you for being my coach. Someone saying, agreeing with you that, you know what, it is an inspiration and you know what, we all need to be coached. And someone saying, yes, I also want to travel the world. So it shows that there is something in what you're doing. And I think if each one of us, like we said before, can tap into ourselves and unleash that power from within, we can learn something or two about ourselves and maybe going further. I see Randu even says, yo, what a show, really, Mama Pazi. We are so blessed. I am motivated to live beyond 100 years. I mean, from just listening to your story. And what I like about the African experience, it brings it home. It's not talking about someone who's sitting in some place out of reach. It talks about munhu wa ka hina loyi hi n'wi tivaka, that we can tap into, that we can touch. And so it's very inspirational. So on that note, what do you do to relax? You seem to be a very busy woman. What, when you say you are relaxing, besides traveling the world and all that, what is your hobby?
The most, or the thing that I love that I mean to buy is to go to the beach. So even when I was looking for a place to stay, I said my list, I need to have a place that is next to the beach. So most of the weekends, I strive to go every weekend. I go to the beach, meditate, or read a book. So that is my number one thing that I do. Other than that, I spend time with my grandkids. And here in Dubai, five of them are here. It's only two that are in South Africa. So that between the business, I spend time there at the beach, meditating and reading a book, and just be with my grandkids.
Oh, wow, that's brilliant. So now there's someone sitting, hey, she's in Dubai. Hey, now her grandchildren, hey, her children are there. How do you identify these opportunities, and how do you manage to relocate to a place like Dubai? You know what we hear from the media, and the Dubai that you talking about Dubai like it's home. For you it's home, and what we hear and the way it's so expensive. How did that come about, besides you getting the job? How did you manage the relocation process?
For me, it was seamless because my daughter was already here, the second daughter. So it was seamless, and Emirates also relocated me. So it wasn't. And for me, I think what helping me is that I'm I'm not scared of change. So you'll have seen I've moved between careers. So for me, change is I embrace it. So I don't look at what's going to happen when I get there. I just go and I'll see what happens when I'm there.
Wow, that's so interesting. So you see, like we were saying when we started the conversation, who would have thought by now we'll be saying, now we need to hear your parting shots or what you want to tell to people listening to you. An hour flies by so quick, ladies and gentlemen. We did not even get to acknowledge all the people that are busy saying and in paying tribute to you and praising you and honoring you on our show today, because you know what? There is just so much, and I don't feel like we even tapped half the things we wanted to talk about. But in any case, it gives us more opportunity to talk again and have you back on our show in the future. So before we release you, we would want to know, maybe there's something that we left out that you feel you want to tell your listeners out there, you want to tell the family, your friends, anyone who's inspired by your story. What is your parting shot, Cecile Viola?
What I would say to all the listeners, every day tell yourself you are powerful and you listen to your intuition. And that will help you to practice to go deeper within yourself. And we're living in an era where information is out there. You go to Google, you'll get everything. I will give each one of us a task. Go and research about how the mind works so that you can be able to rewire your own mind and not wait for somebody to do that, because the information is out there. And I would like then to leave you with the principles that I live by. There are five. What you do is listen more and talk less. Be ready for tough times. And this doesn't mean that you get up that I'm going to get tough times. Tough times will come no matter what. So you need to be ready for those tough times. And also learn to embrace mistakes as they will help you grow. And the fourth one is keep it simple. Don't complicate life, because when you complicate it, then you become stressed. And the last one, and this one I think I love the most, be humble. And I would like to say thank you. Thank you for all the people that joined, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for honoring us with your presence. And I see my beautiful co host is saying, what a powerful show. Thank you so much, Rirandzu, for sharing your story with us. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, this was the African experience with myself, Miss Aventina Mabunda, not by myself, though, always with my co host, Dr. Hlami Ngwenya. And we were talking to the most inspirational guest we've had, Rirandzu, Viola, Madhlophe. Thank you so much. Next week, same time, same place. God bless.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana, oh Afrika nakupenda sana.